Hello friends, welcome to AIMS India live session biology. In this video, we are going to discuss about the basic facts related to nutrition in animals and plants. Basically, nutrition means the process of procurement of nutrients. The process of procurement of nutrients is called nutrition. This is a broader definition. The simplest definition is taking in of nutrition is called nutrition. But nutrition is not simply taking in of nutrients, but also utilizing those nutrients for different metabolic activities. So let us discuss the terms, vocabulary related to nutrition in animals and plants. There are many terms which are very familiar, such as herbivores. This term represents the organisms which feed on plants and their products. For example, you can take all herbivorous animals like deer, rabbit, cow, buffalo, etc. Next, carnivores. The carnivores are those animals which feed on meat. Example, lion, tiger, cheetah, most of the wild animals which feed on meat. Predators. Predators are large animals which chase and kill the prey, like lion, tiger, cheetah. These animals are predators. Scavengers. These scavengers are those animals which feed on dead and rotten meat. Example, vultures, jackals, fox, etc. Omnivores. Omnivores are those animals which eat both plants and animals. It includes some crows, humans, ants, bear, etc. Next, parasites. Parasite is the term related to the organisms which feeds or benefits from another organism that is host and can cause it harm. For example, mosquito, tapeworm. So these parasites broadly classified into two types: external parasites and internal parasites. So external parasites means the parasites which are visible to us from outside. For example, mosquito, it sucks the blood. It is an ectoparasite. Endoparasite, the parasite which is present inside the host, like protozoans, some worms like roundworm, tapeworm, they come under endoparasites. Next, decomposers. The decomposers are those organisms which feed on dead plants and animals and decompose them. For example, bacteria, fungi. So here different types of bacteria are given. Some bacteria are decomposers. Next, symbionts. The symbionts is the term related to symbiotic nutrition or symbiosis. The partners in symbiosis called as symbionts. So living together such that each benefit from one another, they are called symbionts. For example, rhizobium bacteria and groundnut plant, both together called symbionts. Rhizobium bacteria provides nitrogen to the plant and the plant provide the nutrients to the bacteria. Mutual association, it's also called mutualism. So many examples are there. Here one see fish and the organisms, they are associated with each other. Here both the organisms are benefited. Whereas in parasites, only parasite is getting benefit. Decomposers are those organisms, they are closely related to scavengers. Let us discuss same terms in detail. Herbivores, the animals that eat plants are called herbivores. So here, which include different herbivorous animals, sheep, rabbit, cows, zebras, deer, etc. If you take the adaptation of these herbivores, herbivores have the front teeth very sharp for biting and large back teeth for grinding. So here, buffaloes, deers, these are having the front teeth to nip the grass along with roots. Small herbivores such as rabbits, rats and squirrels, they undergo gnawing, gnaw the seeds and fruits. They are called rodents. These have long sharp front teeth to cut the nuts and grains. Next, carnivores. Carnivores are the animals that eat other animals. Example, tiger, lions, cats, hyenas. They have very sharp pointed front teeth. These are canines especially. They are well developed for tearing the flesh. The flesh-eating birds such as eagle and vultures, they are called the birds of prey. They have sharp hooked beak and very sharp claws to tear the flesh. So omnivores, animals that eat both plants and animals, they are called omnivores. Example, bears, humans, crows. Next, nutrition. We come across food chain. A food chain is the sequence of organisms in which each organism is the food of the next member in the food chain, or we can say the phenomenon of eaten and being eaten, eating and being eaten. Such phenomenon is called as food chain. A food chain consisting of several levels. It includes producers and consumers. The producers are nothing but green plants. They produce their own food. So any food chain starts with a producer, then followed by consumers. Consumers are again divided into primary consumers, secondary consumers. If it is a long food chain, tertiary consumers are also present. Primary consumers. Most of the primary consumers are herbivores. They eat plants. Secondary consumers are carnivores. They are large animals. So here, a simplest food chain is given. Producers are the beginning. They prepare their own food by using sunlight. Then They are eaten by primary consumers, goat or sheep. Then it is eaten by the secondary consumer, here lion. Whatever may be, every food chain may ends with decomposers. All producers and consumers, after their death, decomposers feed on them. The flow of energy. Food chain consisting of, in the higher levels, we are going to come across trophic level. Trophic level means the amount of energy which is present at each level in a food chain. Producer, how much energy is present, and consumer, how the energy is transferred, how much energy is transferred. From primary consumers to secondary consumers, how much energy is transferred. That is called the flow of energy. The primarily, the producer's huge amount of energy is present. Directly from sunlight, the energy is transferred to producers. From producers, it is transferred to herbivores. From herbivores, it is transferred to carnivores. From carnivores, it transferred to top carnivores. So like that, energy transfer or flow of energy in any food chain, it is in unidirection, single direction, from producers to consumers. Next, food web. A food web is a series of interconnected food chains or group of food chains representing the feeding relationships of the organisms is called food web. Here one food web is given. Here multiple direction, we can see the different organisms, they are feeding, exchanging. An ecosystem consisting of several food webs. Let us discuss the nutrition in human beings. We procure several types of nutrients. The nutrients which we consume, they are classified into different categories. One by one we will discuss. First, energy giving food or calorie food. It includes carbohydrates. It is the simplest or common energy giving foods are carbohydrates. The sources are rice, potato, wheat, sugar. The main function of this energy giving foods is to provide energy. Next, energy giving food, high energy giving food, that is fats and lipids. They include, butter, cheese, ghee, milk, and it gives more energy compared to carbohydrates. The carbohydrates may provide 4 kilocalories of energy when 1 gram of this carbohydrate is used, whereas if fats are oxidized to produce 9 kilocalories of energy. Means the energy is almost double the energy given by carbohydrates. Next, protective food. The protective food generally includes vegetables and fruits. They contain the main ingredient present in the protective food, vitamins and minerals. Fruits and vegetables are the sources of vitamins and minerals. They are required for normal growth and development. Particularly, they are required for maintenance of health. Next, bodybuilding food. Bodybuilding food includes proteins. The protein-rich food, milk, eggs, meat, fish, soya bean. So almost all these nutrients which are consumed by us, they are available from plant sources as well as from animal sources. So here the proteins from plant sources, soya bean. Remaining main protein sources are milk, meat, eggs and fish. The main purpose of this proteins is, or the function of proteins is, helping in building the body and repairing the wounds. Next, water. Water is a very important ingredient which we require. It is present in almost all types of food which we consume. The main source of water is drinking water, along with the water which is present in the fruits, vegetables. They are rich in water. Main purpose function: helps in digestion, controls the body temperature, helps in the excretion, and almost all metabolic functions require water. That's why we need to take more water every day. Then fibers. Fibers are the last nutrients, but very, very important. They are often called as roughage. They are fibrous foods. Particularly, this roughage is present in green leafy vegetables like cucumber, cluster beans, kheera, means cucumber, one type of. The main function is to get rid of undigested foods. Undigested foods can be eliminated out by taking roughage. Not only that, even our hunger also fulfilled by taking or by including roughage in our daily diet. So let us discuss nutrition in plants. Nutrition in plants, they are already, we know that plants are called producers. How they produce food? They are autotrophic in nature. The process by which green plants synthesize food or glucose from carbon dioxide and water in the presence of chlorophyll and light energy is called photosynthesis. This is a simple definition, or the process in which the inorganic substances like carbon dioxide and water are converted into organic substances like glucose or starch in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll is called photosynthesis. So here the green plant using all the sources available, water available from the soil, carbon dioxide available from the atmosphere, sunlight from the atmosphere, the chlorophyll present in the leaves. That's why they are called the food factories of the plant. So in the presence of this chlorophyll and sunlight, these two reactants undergo the chemical reaction, photochemical reaction, and produce sugars. During this process, oxygen is produced. It is an important mechanism of energy imprint. The energy in the ecosystem enters into through plants only. First, the primary source of energy, sunlight, enters into the plants. From the plants, it is transferred to other organisms. Photosynthesis provides food and oxygen for plants as well as animals, including man. That is the main purpose of photosynthesis. Here the generalized equations are given. Carbon dioxide, water and sunlight undergoes photochemical reaction in the presence of light and chlorophyll, gives rise to glucose and oxygen. It's a generalized equation. Importance of photosynthesis. Photosynthesis provides food for all. The source of energy and food for all living beings is photosynthesis. If no photosynthesis, there is no food in the environment, ecosystem. Oxygen to breathe in. The biological process releasing oxygen and supports the life on the earth is only photosynthesis. Oxygen is added to the atmosphere by means of photosynthesis by plants. Plants are autotrophs. They are called food producers. Animals are called heterotrophs. They are called the consumers, or they depend directly or indirectly on plants. Photoautotrophs. The plants make their food by photosynthesis by using sunlight. They are called photoautotrophs. Example, green plants and some bacteria. Chemoautotrophs. These chemoautotrophs are also autotrophs only. Production of food in these organisms takes place by using energy from chemical reaction. Example, sulfur bacteria. Raw materials. What are the raw materials? Carbon dioxide, water, sunlight. Carbon dioxide acts as source of carbon and oxygen in the formation of glucose molecules. Water, it acts as a source of hydrogen in the formation of glucose molecule. Sunlight, it is the energy source to conduct photosynthesis. Next, photosynthesis, the products of reaction. Let us first glucose. Glucose is the useful product for plants. Plants also use some amount of glucose straight away by the plant cells. Some of it is converted to starch and it is stored in the different parts of the plant for later use. The potatoes, banana, whatever we are eating, they are nothing but the storage food material from the plants. Oxygen. Oxygen is a byproduct of photosynthesis. This gas is transported out of the leaf into the air. Why is this important for humans and other living organisms? Why oxygen is very important? Because the only source of oxygen for almost all living organisms on this planet Earth is photosynthesis. So during this photosynthesis reaction only, oxygen is added to the atmosphere. So it is very important. This oxygen is required by all living organisms for the production of energy during respiration. So that's why it is very important. So here this picture shows the light energy, carbon dioxide, water. These are the reactants. Chlorophyll, which is present inside the leaf. In this chloroplast, the reaction of photosynthesis, photochemical reaction takes place and produce glucose and oxygen. The glucose which is produced in the leaves, that's why leaves are called food factories of the plant. So the glucose which is synthesized here is transported to remaining parts of the plant and stored in different parts for its later use. Next, heterotrophic nutrition. Till now, autotrophic nutrition in plants. Now, heterotrophic nutrition. What is heterotrophic nutrition? The nutrition in which the organism cannot prepare its own food, or the organism which depends on other organisms for its food. They are called heterotrophs, and the nutrition is called heterotrophic nutrition. So this heterotrophic nutrition is further divided into different categories based on the type of food material on which that organism is depending. Saprophytic nutrition. Saprophytic nutrition depends. These organisms are called saprophytes. These depends on non-living substances or dead and decomposing substances. Dead and decomposing organic materials are observed through body wall of the organism. Example, bacteria and fungi. What this bacteria and fungi, particularly this fungi like mushrooms, molds, what they do is they release some enzymes into the dead bodies of plants and animals, so which can digest, and in the form of liquids they absorb. So that's why they are called saprophytes. In the animals, heterotrophic nutrition, animals, they are called saprozoites. Saprozoic nutrition is there. Saprophytic nutrition in plants. Saprozoic Example, Entamoeba histolytica, a unicellular animal. It absorbs the nutrients directly digested food materials present in the intestine, and certain worms also. Next, parasitic nutrition. Parasitic nutrition is a type of heterotrophic nutrition. These are called parasites. They depends on another living organisms. They are called host. There is a relation between host and parasite. In this relationship, parasite only gets benefited. So what parasite do is, parasite has close association with the host and obtain food from it. Host is not benefited but harm, but parasite is benefited. So example for these parasites, bacteria, fungi, and even some plants like Castuta, Amarbel, and Viscum, Rafflesia. There are so many parasitic plants are there. The animals also, animals like tapeworm, roundworm, and protozoans, unicellular parasitic protozoans are there, like Entamoeba, Leishmania. Okay, and external parasites we discussed, mosquitoes, blood bugs, they are external parasites. Next, holozoic nutrition. Holozoic nutrition is a type of nutrition in which the organism feeds on the parts of plants or animals, or whole organism is taken as food. Or we can define holozoic nutrition as the nutrition in which the animal feeds on solid food particles. It's called holozoic nutrition. And these holozoic animals, they digested the food material with the help of digestive enzymes into simple substances, then absorbed by body cells. So this process may takes place inside, that is in the lumen of the intestine in higher organisms, or if you take unicellular organisms like amoeba, inside the food vacuole, this process of digestion takes place where the hydrolytic enzymes are involved. So this type of nutrition is called holozoic nutrition. And further, let us discuss some of the bits which involve, which are asked in this. So let us see how the questions are framed from this lesson. Plant nutrition. Which of these properly defines nutrition? Can you answer? I will give 2 seconds. Later I will click the answer. Which of the property defines nutrition? Taking food, utilizing food, variety of food. So here, taking food, utilizing food defines nutrition. Next, which plant part is also known as the food factory? So direct answer, leaf. Children, which of these is responsible for green color in plants? Plants' leaves are green color by the presence of a pigment called chlorophyll. Which of these is not required for photosynthesis? Water, sunlight, carbon dioxide, and glucose. Which one? Glucose is the product, so it is not required. Next, which of these gases is released during photosynthesis? When you see the reaction of photosynthesis, what is the product released? Oxygen. Next, mushroom is an example of saprophyte. Which bacteria helps in nitrogen fixation in soil? So we discussed in the symbiotic nutrition, rhizobium bacteria. Next, which of these is an example of symbiosis? Many examples are there. Here, lichens, association between algae and fungi. Next, stomata helps in the process of photosynthesis. Carbon dioxide enters the leaves by means of tiny opening called stomata. So this process is transpiration. Next, which of these is insectivorous plant? Here in the heterotrophic nutrition in plants, some plants are heterotrophic and insectivorous, which feed on insects. For example, pitcher plant. Next, nutrition. Here the nitrogen is necessary for making which nutrient? So actually carbohydrates, if you take carbon, hydrogen and oxygen are present. Fats also carbon, hydrogen and oxygen are present. But if you take proteins, this nitrogen is present. Next, which is the color of iodine starch complex? So at the end of photosynthesis, one confirmation test is done that is called starch identification test or iodine test. When iodine is added to the starch, what is the color change? It is dark blue color. Next, let us see the nutrition in animals, some of the typical questions. Mosquitoes has which type of mouth part to suck blood? Actually, the heterotrophic nutrition, the parasite, external parasite, that is mosquito, they has a piercing and sucking type of mouth parts. So a needle-like structure is present. What is that called? Proboscis. Next, which of these animals has sticky tongue to catch its prey? Feeding mechanism in animals. There are different feeding organs. For example, amoeba, pseudopodia, okay, and hydra, tentacles are present. Like that, if you take frog, sticky tongue is present. Digestion begins in which part of the human digestive system? Digestion part begins in mouth. Major part of digestion takes place in which organ of human digestive system? The major part of digestion takes place in the small intestine. So this is the basic class, not covered all the concepts. So model questions we are discussing. Which type of teeth are used for tearing food? We discussed in carnivorous animals. Which teeth are useful for tearing food? Canines. Which enzyme is present in saliva? The enzyme present in saliva? Ptyalin. What is the other name of ptyalin? Salivary amylase, which digests the starch partially. Next, which acid is secreted by the walls of stomach? In the stomach, gastric glands are present. They secrete which acid? Hydrochloric acid. The digestive enzymes are mainly secreted by which organ? Salivary glands also secrete. Pancreas also secrete. The small intestine secrete more enzymes. Next, bile juice plays an important role in digestion of which of these? Fats, proteins, carbohydrates, minerals. The bile juice helps in emulsification of fats. So, it plays important role in digestion of fats. Absorption of digested food. Absorption of digested food takes place in which part of human digestive system? So, most of the digestion takes place in the small intestine only, and absorption also takes place by villi present in the small intestine. Next, which of these is a ruminating animal? Ruminating animal. Some animals like cow, buffalo, these animals will bring back the food, partially digested food, and chew thoroughly, and again they swallow. That process is called rumination, and the animals are called ruminating animals. So, ruminating animal here, cow. Digestion of food takes place in which part of amoeba? At this point we have discussed it. Amoeba, though it is a unicellular organism, it engulfs the food materials with the help of pseudopodia, and a structure called food vacuole is present, where the digestion of the food takes place by hydrolytic enzymes. Okay, children, like this, after every class, we are going to discuss some bits related to the topic, and please watch our video, subscribe our channel. Thank you.